everybody, it's Mike Gesowich, co-founder of Teaching.com, Typing.com, and Edutyping.com, here with another exciting episode of Ask Edutyping, which is a weekly show where we field user questions from around the United States of people who use, teachers and students who use Typing.com and Edutyping, and anybody who is learning keyboarding at large who has general questions. Each week, we start with a tip of the week, and this tip I really love. I used to use this in my classroom, and it's a great visual motivator for your students. It's called Soaring Words Per Minute Scores. Basically, it's an incentive or visual motivator for your students to visually see how their progress is coming along in the keyboarding classroom, and it also motivates them to achieve higher and higher word per minute scores. Real simple to set this up. First thing you'll need is either a whiteboard, a chalkboard, or a bulletin board, or a place on the wall that you can create the bulletin board. And you start by creating a construction paper cliff or mountain, and above that, out of construction paper, you'll make white clouds. On those clouds will be different levels or intervals of word per minute scores that you'll want your students to try to achieve. And of course, these will vary. The number of words per minute will vary based on the skill level of your students in each separate class that you're teaching typing and keyboarding. On the clouds, you'll draw in different intervals. The example I have here on my whiteboard is 30 words per minute, and then a little bit above that is 40 words per minute. Below that, you would do 25 or 15 or 10, depending upon the grade level. So once the bulletin board has been set up, what you want to let your students know is once they achieve different levels or soaring to new heights, hence the name, using their word per minute and accuracy scores, they will actually make a paper airplane, signifying a hang glider. On the paper airplane, they'll actually put their name, and when they achieve a different level on the bulletin board, they'll actually tack their paper airplane to that, signifying where they are as far as words per minute and accuracy. So each week or whatever time designate that you desire, it could be every day. Once a student achieves a new level, they'll actually move their paper airplane. And students love to do this because it lets them see not only how they're doing visually, but everybody else as well. So that's this week's tip. Each week we field user audience questions. So I am joined off camera by my colleague Rennie Sullivan, who will take and read this week's first question for Ask Edutyping. Rennie?
Thanks, Mike. Alexander James from Michigan asks, how long would it take for a 60-year-old to learn touch typing using a good computer program?
Great question, Alexander. First of all, it's never too late to learn anything new. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you can always learn how to type. It's a great foundational school for all things technology. And today's different generations are all becoming familiar with using iPhones, iPads, different devices, laptops, surfing the internet, and the better their typing skills, the more efficient they'll be on using all things technology. So to answer the question, it's never too late. The key to learning keyboarding is that it does take time. Just like anything new, when you learned how to ride a bike, you started with training wheels for several weeks or months, and then when you felt comfortable, those training wheels came off, and you may have been a little wobbly at first, riding without the training wheels, but sooner rather than later, you're riding a bike, and it's something you never forget, and keyboarding is the same thing. So the key is consistency. Our recommendation is a minimum of practice about 10 minutes per day, somewhere to the equivalent of about 50 to 60 minutes per week. And do realize that learning how to type, it's a whole new process for your brain and your motor dexterity skills. So give it a good 3 to 6 months before you actually start to see good progress. And what I mean by that is you'll see consistent progress, but getting to a point where you no longer have to look at the keyboard to learn where the keys are located. And you should be typing pretty efficiently. At 60 years old, my expectation would be that you could achieve somewhere between 40 and 60 words per minute by practicing every day for somewhere about 3 to 6 months. So hopefully that helps Alexander, and good luck with learning how to keyboard. And again, any age is a good age. So let's take our second question of the week. Rennie?
Annabelle Jones from Florida asks, at what angle should the fingers be placed while typing?
Great question, Annabelle. We get this all the time, is what is the best technique? First of all, to answer your question, what angle should the wrists be when at the keyboard? First thing is you want to make sure that your fingers are slightly curved and always anchored on the home row keys, the ASDF, JKL semicolon keys. And then you want to have your wrist slightly curved, as I'm demonstrating here, where your palms are slightly resting on the keyboard, but just above it. So only about 1/8 of an inch or so. And that's a comfortable position. But we're all built differently, so realize that a comfortable rhythm could look a little bit differently based on somebody's coordination skills and how high they're sitting. That's another important thing, is make sure that if you are at a chair where you can adjust the height, that's super important. You always want to be comfortable so there's no strain on your wrists and your fingers can move comfortably on the keyboard. So hopefully that helps, Annabelle. And we have time for one more question. So Rennie, if you'd read our last question of the week, please.
Julie Rogers from Texas asks, at what age should a child learn the correct technique of typing?
Great question, Julie. So first of all, keyboarding or typing skills is now being introduced at a much younger age. So your question is right on point with where things are. A lot of the achievement tests, when I used to take them, I used to use a number 2 pencil and bubble in answers. Today, students are asked to take achievement tests online using some type of computer-based assessment. So the need and requirement for them to be able to keyboard is really, really important so they can keep those achievement scores nice and high. So to answer your question, ideally, it's about 2nd grade or 3rd grade. Students don't know how to really spell or even know the alphabet in kindergarten and 1st grade, so they're just learning how to do that. But our curriculum is designed in such a way that we introduce the keyboard in correlation with how the English language is introduced. So as students are learning how to spell and learning the alphabet, our curriculum correlates with that. So 2nd and 3rd grade is really ideal. And it doesn't have to be, you know, a taxing task for students at that age. Obviously, they'll get frustrated and lose interest in a short amount of time span. So we recommend lessons somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes and then give students a break. But definitely 2nd and 3rd grade, right in line with how they're learning the English language, is a perfect time, because studies have already shown that students are actually typing more than they are writing. So the earlier we introduce it, the better. So hopefully that answers your question and helps you out with a decision on that, Julie. And I just want to give a shout out to the Western Business Education Association, located in the western region of the United States. And their quest is to always make career and technical education better. And last week I had the opportunity of keynoting there in Boise, Idaho, and got to speak to hundreds of teachers about the importance of technology skills, and especially keyboarding, and stressing that all students should have that foundational skills of typing. So just wanted to say thanks for the invitation. I had a great time. That's all we have time for this week, folks. But please, you can know that you can reach us and ask your questions via Facebook at #AskEdutyping, as well as Twitter and Instagram. And please make sure you visit Edutyping.com or Typing.com and take a look at our blog, which is packed with hundreds of tips on making keyboarding fun and engaging for students. So until next week, we'll see you soon, folks. And remember, if you come to a fork in the road, take it.